What's up, beautiful people? Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Wellness Wednesday. If this is your first live, welcome. If this is not your first live, welcome back. And if you are catching the replay, shout out to you for getting it done. So yes, go ahead and tag your people, tag your friends. Go ahead and put those positive affirmations in the text, in the comments. Let us know some goals that you have accomplished or goals that you are working to accomplish. We have this 4-week challenge going on. So I know a lot of you have these new goals set. I know a lot of you are working towards these new goals and all the great things. What's going on over here? Oh, that's my hair. I was like, why is that pick sticking up over there? But yes, so make sure. There we go. That's gonna bother me. Boom. There we go. But make sure you guys are setting these new goals. Make sure you're doing what you need to do in order to, accomplish these goals. And if you need a little encouragement, let us know. That's why we're here. Make sure you're tapping into the lives, having those accountability partners, all the great things. But I'm super proud of all of you. I definitely see the posts coming in about, you tackling these new workouts and getting your steps in. So I actually have an Apple Watch. I only have two friends on here um, that, and I don't really keep up with like the teams and stuff. So look, I'm gonna have to learn how to set the challenges and add a few of you guys. Maybe we could do like a little, you add me to your challenge so I can also, compete and get my steps in too, and making sure we hold each other accountable. Because I know the watch and all these, they can do great things, but yeah, I'm not that tech savvy. It's like I got it so I can tell the time, and answer the phone here and there. But I definitely am gonna start doing that more. I do clock my workouts and stuff, so I think that's pretty cool. And it's so funny because before I got this watch, I was thinking about, oh, you do your workout, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am, and you gone. But now, if I do my workout and I don't have my watch or forget to start it, it's like, no. And it's like, girl, you didn't even care a couple years ago. So I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. But definitely in my walking stages of things. So definitely gotta make sure we get those steps in. So again, go ahead and tag your friends. Let them know we are about to have another great conversation today. I'm super excited for today's conversation. I'm gonna hold off on what the topic is going to be about, just to allow more people to get in here. But I think it's definitely something that we all need to tap into. So it's definitely gonna be a great one today. But while we are waiting to get started, I also want to continue to encourage you to, I want to encourage you to try something new, whether that's within this season or starting next year. And when I say something new, I mean like I want you to tap into trying a new class, maybe trying a new recipe. A lot of times when we are focusing on our wellness journey, sometimes we get bored a little bit, right? And so if you've never taken what a Zumba class or a Pilates class or a yoga's Lord, I'm putting S on there, a yoga class or a cardio kickboxing class or whatever that class is for you. I want you to try a new class. I want you to, pick a week or pick a day where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna try this new class. Or if you're like, well, I tap into all the classes, I've tried them all, and I like what I like, then I want you to try a new recipe. Let's keep this thing spicy. And if you're like, oh, well, I don't know where to get the recipe from, I got you. Go ahead and make sure you join the E2M foodie page. There's recipes all up and down that page, along with some hacks and reminders for the E2M kitchen meals. But we also have cookbooks as well. But you have the resources. Just definitely tap into them. But that's my challenge for you all, whether that's before 2025 gets here or right when 25 gets here. I want you all to just try something new. But we are at that time, and I am going to let in our special guest. I am super excited. Hi, Miss Lady. How you doing?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yes, yes, looking so lovely. So let the people know who you are and what you do.
Yes, yes, yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, Fit Fam. My name is Latasha Matthews. I am a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia. I'm also a mental health advocate where I work with organizations and women in leadership, teaching them how to live well. That's my whole mission is live
Listen.
well emotionally so you can live well physically.
I love that. I love that. Okay, shout out to Georgia. I know our interview from last week was a massage therapist from Georgia. So, okay, shout out to you guys. Y'all doing it. Y'all doing it. So, before we jump into our first question, I do want to ask you, like, just share a little bit about your E2M journey before we get started.
Yes, yes, yes. It has been definitely a learning process. I was listening to you backstage about doing something new. So I was one of the E2Mers that I had my structure. I wanted to do this class and that class. And I was missing out on all the gems. And so I think I would echo you, making sure that we switch it up and keep it spicy. So now I do all of the mental fitness. I used to have my favorite. I just tap in every day. I've been listening to the dietitian, and I'm in the 50 age, so listening to the all of the stuff to help us stay cool for those that are 50. And so I think the journey has been one that has allowed me to stretch myself regarding not just staying in a structure, having that structure, which we're going to be talking about later, but just really being open to giving my body what it needs in this season. So what I did 5 years ago probably ain't working for me now. And so
Mhm.
it's been a great journey as far as consistency. It has helped me not just look at weight goals, not just wanting to get the summer body for the trip, but making sure that I'm thinking about lifestyle and thinking about, sustainability is really the key
Yeah.
for me. So I have loved it all.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And going back to what you said for your introduction, living well. So today we're going to be talking about boundary setting and why that is important. And living well, we need these boundaries, okay? So I'm going to jump right into my first question with you. And it's, why is boundary setting important?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'll back up a bit. I wrote a book called The Dumping Ground back in 2015.
Okay, bud.
Not giving a plug for that, but the reason it's important is because I found myself struggling to set boundaries. So for those who don't know what a boundary is really just a limit or guideline that we decide for ourselves that teaches us how people are going to treat us, how we're going to treat ourselves, how we respect ourselves physically, emotionally, spiritually, and materially. And so it's important as it pertains to our fitness journey, is because it allows us to know what we want to say yes to and know what we want to say no to. It allows us to set intentions on goals that we want to accomplish. And it really just allows us a framework. We need frameworks to stay in so we can get things done. So that's why it's important.
I love that. Okay. Listen. And if you don't know how to set a boundary, after today's live, we'll know how to set a boundary. Because you're right. It's one of those things that's easier said than done. But once you learn how to do it, baby, you can't be stopped. My second question to you is, how does setting clear boundaries with your time influence your ability to maintain a consistent fitness routine?
Ah, all right. So we know that we can find, if we go to the guides, we can find the time for everything. But we also know that if we're not prepared for the 6 o'clock workout in the morning, if we still getting our clothes together, if we just waking up, we're not going to be able to be ready. And even when we show up for the workout, if we showing up at 6 o'clock, we probably already behind. So setting boundaries and preparing for what you want to do regarding time really helps you be intentional about it. So we're not just willy-nilly in it.
Mhm.
Another thing that it really helps you do is it helps you hold yourself accountable. A lot of times we like to blame other people. We like to blame systems that are not working, but you first have to blame yourself if you're not showing up before time to be prepared for these workouts. Even with the meal prep, the water, we know what to do, but sometimes we just choose not to. So we're setting a boundary that's not really going to help us really reach our goal. So we can set negative boundaries as well.
Mm. Yeah, we want to stick to those positive ones. So definitely, I hear that. Prepare. I know. And she's actually an E2N, but my mentor, I have to always slow it down. But she says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
That's
So
right.
therefore, always have a plan and be prepared. Question number three: how does setting boundaries impact your mental health, and why is it essential for overall well-being?
Yeah, yeah. And this is for the people pleasers in the back of the room. I definitely think we are in a society where we want to do all of the things. We want to make sure we're accommodating others, and sometimes we do that to a detriment to ourselves.
Mhm.
When we do that, it causes anxiety, stress, and burnout. Um, and they all close cousins, so it really speaks to our desire to want to take care of somebody else first before we take care of ourselves. So it's important to know that if you're not able to say no, you're not going to be able to say yes. And those yeses are to the things that are important to you. So if you feel like you're having heart palpitations and you're resenting people all the time, it's probably because you have not created a solid boundary plan that is sustainable for yourself.
And you kind of tapped into my next question for you is why is saying no just as important as saying yes?
Yes. Well, I'll piggyback on that a little more. Um, because we're in a society that we want to look favorable to others, right? We want to make sure that we are, showing a good light. We don't want to, rub anyone the wrong way. We have to learn how to say no. No is, I've done my research because I have a book. No is used in probably about 100 countries and it has the same meaning. Sometimes our family of origin and how we were raised, in some cultures, no is not good. Other times, we have not been taught to say no. And so it's important to know that if you can't say no, you're not going to be able to say yes to your goals.
Mm.
So we get to choose.
So we saying yes to everybody else except ourselves.
Yes to everybody else. And struggling over here, girl, struggling.
No, for real. I think you're making me think back when I didn't look at myself as like a people pleaser per se, but I would get invited to a lot of things, especially me being in the sorority, me being just, know a lot of people. So like I would get invited to this person's thing because I just know a lot of people. Then I get invited to this person's thing. Then I got invited to this person's thing. And it was like, instead of saying like, okay, well, which one are you going to go to? Because you can't go to all. Oh no, I was going to every last one of them and I would be tired and I'd be rushing and it was just like, oh, I may can't stay to this event uh all day, but I can sprinkle over here. And I looked at it as, oh well, they took the time to invite me, let me go. And but I that would be a consistent thing, like just being in the training community, being like a trainer here in Charlotte, like and I was this was probably a couple like years ago. So I was meeting new people, wanting to mix and mingle. And in reality, I didn't really enjoy myself because I was so tired. And but now it's like, yeah, they can invite you, but just because you can't go doesn't mean that you're not a great friend or you're not being super supportive. Either you can or you cannot. And so once I learned how to say, well, unfortunately, I already have something booked for that day, and getting their reaction like, oh, okay, well, I understand. It was like, oh, that was easy. But in the beginning, I didn't even allow people to say that to me because I'm like, no, I'm just trying to make it happen. And life is so much better when you can just be honest with people and honest with yourself. I think that's what it was. I wasn't honest with myself because in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, I'll make it happen. But in reality, it was like, baby girl, no, like that's a lot. And now, especially me being pregnant, I'm such an independent person, and I've always been that way. I have to set boundaries for myself now too, because it's like you can't do everything.
Mhm.
So for you at home, if you know that you're that person, even when it comes to the workouts, you might be like, oh, well, this person want me to work out over here, and this person want me to work out over here, and this person want me to work out over here, and now you like 3, 4 workouts in a day. Like, no, you have to set that boundary. Like, well, maybe I'll do it with you this week, and then next week, like even within that, because I know that happens in the fitness world as well. So learning how to say no is a task within itself.
Yeah.
um, yes. My next question to you is, how can setting boundaries around nutrition and rest help prevent burnout and setbacks in your fitness journey?
Woo. So I'm just gonna speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not age specific. I think it's just person specific.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you put that certain piece of something in your mouth, and it slows you down, or you get bloated, we already know what it's going to do to our bodies when we put it in our mouth, but we choose, because we're choosing to indulge in something that's going to cause us to slow down, not be able to set the boundaries. So for myself, I know that if I'm eating, sugar after a certain time, I'm not going to be able to do the workouts. And, when you're over 50, you ain't going to be able to sleep. So if I am up half of the night, I'm not going to show up for the workouts. I'm probably going to injure myself. I'm not going to be rested. So it's important to know that it's not just about doing 50 workouts a day. If I don't have the water in my body, if I don't have the proper food, you
Mm-hmm.
can really injure yourself, to be honest. And it's not really healthy. It's really counterproductive. You're not going to lose the weight. You're going to be frustrated and angry. If you're client facing and you're seeing clients, I know I see clients all day. If I'm not eating right, I can't focus in on what they're saying. I'm just there, just looking at them. They're looking at me and I'm looking at them. So we just have to really be honest that we have this system. It's not just let me do 50 workouts and then eat what I want to eat. The system works when we work the system.
Yeah. And like you said, you got to make sure you're eating the proper foods too to give you that energy, because you go, oh, I'm about to do this workout, and you wondering why your workout is trash, baby, because you ain't ate no food worth eating. And also, while we're talking about nutrition, guys, make sure you are eating though. I know sometimes people get confused, like, oh, I'm not going to eat as much because I'm trying to lose weight. That's not how it works. Make sure you are eating enough, because what you don't want your body to do is go in starvation mode and just hold on to what you do have, and now you're slowing your progress down, or hindering your progress because you're not eating enough. So definitely making sure you're getting your nutrition and your rest. To your point of like, that's just as important too. Making sure you are getting that time to rest and get your sleep and all those good things, because burnout is real. And I feel like sometimes you don't even know you're burned out until it's too late.
Yeah, I think, to your point, we really have to stay connected with our bodies. I think sometimes we're running so much that we disassociate and disconnect from really what's happening. We stay
Mm-hmm.
so busy that we are not asking ourselves, well, what do I need today? What do I need to offer myself today? And then really listen before we move on. Like, oh, I don't need to offer myself anything. I'm just gonna keep moving. No, we got to sit with it and say, okay, well, what do I need this morning? Do I need to work out? Do I need to rest more? Sometimes it's resting more and not getting up to do the 6 a.m. live. It's I'm taking the morning off, and honoring ourselves when our body says, no, you're tired.
No, for real, for real. I love that. So I have two more questions for you, and then I go ahead. I know we're coming up on time. So my next question is, what role does boundary setting play in helping people overcome guilt or social pressure to prioritize themselves and their fitness goal?
Ooh, yeah, you just talked about that. I definitely think that um, retraining our minds about how we show up and how we show up for others,
Mhm.
knowing that it's okay not to attend all of the social events. It's okay to say to your family and friends, like I had to say to my mom, who was trying to send a whole bunch of stuff back home with me. I'm like, no, I appreciate you. All due respect, I'm going to leave that here.
That
I'm not
must be all
taking it
mamas.
home. I'm not taking that stuff home. And I used to get offended, or I used to try to appease her. But I know if it comes here, it's getting eaten. Like, I'm not wasting food. We were taught not to waste food. I think Natanya talked about that in one of her lives. We were taught not to waste food. So if you take it and bring it in, you go eat it. you ain't throwing it away. You can't waste food, right? So
Mhm.
just really honoring where we're at and being excited about it. Don't be scared to tell somebody you're doing something different. I think sometimes we want to hide our journey and say, well, no, I can't do that, and really lie about it. But no, I'm trying to do something different. Even if I don't get it right, I'm trying to do something different. So really setting a boundary and really speaking, being an advocate for what you're doing, and not being concerned that people say, oh, she's trying to do that weight loss thing again. It ain't gonna work. Oh, well, I'm gonna keep trying until it does work.
Right. You that tell people mind your business. Let me do what I'm doing over here. No, for real. No, that was perfectly said. So before we get into my last question, I do just want to take the time to just say thank you so much for just allowing us to be able to hear all the knowledge that you have around boundary setting. And before we get out of here, definitely want you to go ahead and let us know about your book again as well and how we can stay connected. But my last question is, what is one quote that you would like to leave to the listeners around boundary setting?
Yeah, yeah. So the quote is, boundaries are not walls. So we're not trying to keep things out. They're like bridges to a healthier you. By saying no to what drains you and takes away from you, it gives you space to say yes to all the things that are priorities for you.
I love that. Okay, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna write that down. They're not walls, they're bridges. Cause honey, I'd be like, no, in my walls, right? Like, no, don't ask me nothing else. Don't talk about it. Don't breathe on me. Leave me alone. But but no, for I really appreciate this conversation, and I think it's definitely one that we might need to tap into later on, especially in 2025. But before we get out of here, let people know how they can stay connected with you, and also a little bit more about your book.
Yes, yes, yes. So I am a licensed therapist in Georgia, Nevada, and Florida. And so you can find me at illuminationcc.com. I also have a company called Why to Live Well, where I help women in leadership and organizations help their employees live well through emotional wellness initiatives. And my book is called The Dumping Ground. You can find it on Amazon, and it helps you set healthy boundaries.
I love that. That sounds like some good Christmas gifts right there. Everybody need a little boundary setting. So there you have it, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in to another Wellness Wednesday. Make sure you tap back in next week. And again, set those boundaries. I love you. God bless.
Bye.